And welcome into Closest to the Win, a Hammercast production. And we are excited to be here for the Players Championship, TPC Sawgrass. How you doing, Justin?
Hey, doing good. How about you guys?
Can't complain, man. Ready to rock and roll. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Nick, you doing good?
With that intro, man, I'm pumped. Fifth major, I'm ready to go. Let's just knock this thing out the park.
Let's do this, man. Let's have some fun. How about you? Hey, Pro is playing down, man. He's had some kind of stomach flu, huh?
Yeah. I've had the bug the last 24 hours, but I'm ready. It's the fifth major. We're not missing out on this one. The field, as always, loaded. I'm excited.
Man, I'm excited too, man. And for those that aren't aware, what we're going to do tonight, we're going to go right to what we put into our thought process for our model. We're going to talk about the course. We're going to go straight to the DFS plays. We're going to go through your best plays and fades, 10K, 9K, 8K, 7K, and then your value plays. We're going to talk about our optimal lineup tonight, and we're going to give it to you based on our DFS pricing. And then we're going to finish the show with some outright picks and some other bets that we're looking at and close you guys out until tomorrow. Sound good, guys?
Yes, sir.
Sounds like a plan.
I know we all have a certain amount of experience and memories with TPC Sawgrass. It's one of the most famous, iconic courses in America. Obviously, the 17 is one of the most famous holes in the world. And so, but just a brush up. It's a short course compared to what we've been playing in the last few years. It's a little less than 7,200 yards. What that tells me right away is it's not going to give a huge advantage to the Bombers. And so I think it's going to really come down to more ball striking, accuracy, and things like that. It is a par 72. The top 65 plus ties make the cut. There's a bigger field here than normally. There's normally about 140, 143 players. It's 154 this year. And then it's a Pete Dye design. And I know, Guru, you went through a lot of comps with other Pete Dye design courses.
I did. There's some factored in for sure.
Well, what do you think? What do you think about the course? What are some of the things that as far as the course concerned?
Well, let me take a sidestep here since we have the pro on staff here. So there's I don't know, maybe 7,500 Dye courses out there. I'm sure you played a couple.
I certainly have. Yeah.
The few that you've played, have you noticed any kind of reoccurring themes, or the few that you've played? Would you say that you need to do this and don't really do the certain things you don't need to do compared to other courses and whatnot?
Well, the reason that Pete Dye courses are diabolical is because he does a wonderful job of making it look like you have nowhere to put the ball. What with that meaning, the fairway could be wide open. What he does with your eyes, it makes it look like the landing zone's extremely small. The railroad ties around all the greens is kind of his go-to. It kind of gives you that definition around the greens. It's very intimidating. And you'll see that with this golf course as well. There's some tee shots where you can't necessarily see your target and where you're going to be landing. It's way bigger than what you feel in your head. And he kind of forces you to take lines and look different places that you don't necessarily need to. And so that's something that without even the golf course, it's just a mental thing out of the gates. But then his golf courses are always difficult. But for me, Pete Dye is just the guy that gets you right out of the gates with your sight lines, making you feel uncomfortable immediately when there's not really a reason to necessarily be uncomfortable. These courses, this course this week, there's some pretty wide open landing spots on this golf course. But again, mentally, when you go into it and you see it, that you do not feel comfortable when you're standing on the tee.
Yeah.
I like that closing three that he has a lot of his courses. You've got that drivable par 5, you've got that water par 3 like you've got here in like the stadium course in for the Amex, and then you've got the pretty wicked par 4 on the 18th that you've got to hit right or you're pretty SOL.
Yeah, the closing stretch at this golf course is awesome because everybody talks about 17. Well, 16 is you can make a 3 on that par 5 all day long, or you can make a number. You get the ball anywhere up to the right, you're in the water. But I think that this tournament, it's all about 18. 18 is a beast of a golf hole. And there's no bailout. You can hit it right, but it puts you in a hell of a predicament trying to get to that green and make par. 17, of course, 17 is a flip wedge for these guys, but of course it still gives them issues. But man, is 18 a stretch? I just love the way this course closes because you have such the opportunity for madness and just carnage out there. I mean, somebody could go, 3-2-3 and win this thing out. Or as we saw Ricky, which is one of the best parts about this golf tournament. If it does go to a playoff, we're going to be going back to 17. So just the closing stretch here is a lot of fun. And I think Ricky birdied 5 times in one day.
It was pretty remarkable.
So that closing stretch, so it was just incredible. And it's just like, again, anything can happen down those last 3 holes.
Yeah.
Yep. In 15, like 5, I think he made 4 or 5 birdies within a matter of an hour and a half on 17.
Well, that reminds me. Hey, Justin lives right down the road. Don't you? How far do you live from Sawgrass?
Probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
And you've played, right? What are your thoughts on the course?
Well, I haven't played the course. I've been out there for TPC, but it's kind of like you said. It's a beautiful course, and it's got the stadium seating all around, and there's not a bad seat in the place. It's a huge party when you're there. It's really cool.
Well, everything in Jacksonville's a party.
Yeah, Georgia, Florida, whatever. But so Drew kind of hit on my points. Is the closing stretch is unbelievable, and like you said, you're not safe cruising in. The leader can easily come back to you. So I think that it's that's what makes it so exciting to me. Is there's it's right down to the final hole. It's going to be really interesting.
Yeah,
they're going to have to earn it.
Yep. From what I understand, there are 17 water hazards on the course that are in play. That's insane. And then you got the bunkers, and so you're right. Off the tee accuracy is going to be critical. I have heard reports that the fairways are a little soft, so it might not be as short as we may. It may be a little. It may play a little longer, but they're going to firm up a little bit, from what I understand. The greens are nice. They said they're perfect, but they are firm, and so it's going to be a man. I'm pumped up. This is a major to me.
It's supposed to be beautiful down here all weekend too. It's been nice all week. It's supposed to be beautiful throughout the weekend.
Yep. Touching on the greens for a second, though, they're probably the wild card just because of the overseed. Wrong time of year for the Bermuda to come through. So, between the bent and the POA or whatever's going to actually rear its head and poke through, it may be a little different. And I started to wonder if maybe that's kind of what's transpired the last couple of weeks because, Concession and Bay Hill both have the same type of greens. So I feel like maybe from the west coast of Florida to the central, and now you're getting over to the East Coast. It's just the difference in the weather. So I think Concession was probably the true Bermuda. Bay Hill was probably sort of a blend, and this is probably more going to be the overseed versus. So it'll be interesting to see how it'll play. But I think it'll give some props and some points to maybe some folks that do well putting on the West Coast versus the East, when normally it would be the other. But since the tourney's back in March versus May, so it'll take probably a year or two to really figure out how this is going to shake out.
That's a great point, by the way.
That is.
That's a very good point. And that kind of touches on you there, Dave, with the fairways being a little softer, that overseed. This tournament, in my opinion, is a May golf tournament. I'm not going to bitch about it being in March because here we are. But this golf course in May is a different golf course than it is in March. And one of the comments was number 4. Number 4 is a super cool hole. Just to touch on that real quick, because just the green complex is incredible. You basically have a slope down the middle of the green where, depending on where that hole location is, if they put it back right, it's fun. Or if they put it in the lower left bowl, you can see a lot of close shots and a lot of birdies at 4. So that's a fun hole for me as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be glued to the TV. I'm going to get nothing done Thursday and Friday, man. I'm going to be just worthless. And so, but working from home has its advantages.
PGA Tour Live this week also. Every shot, every player. I'm not 100% sure how it's going to work. I know it's going to be similar to the Masters, but that's going to be super cool because I think that's kind of the way we're headed. So I'll be interested to see what the coverage is like.
Yeah, I'm going to be like, just take my money.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm with you.
Well, that's cool. Well, hey, Guru, let's talk a little bit about what you put into your model, and then we're going to go right to the DFS plays, and then we're going to hit the bets.
So This week for me, I dialed up the form a little bit, just because I feel like you can't just come in cold, so to speak. So I think the folks that have played in Florida the last couple of weeks probably are at a bit of an advantage compared to other folks that haven't. So the form's dialed up a little bit. Dye's an interesting character because, there's a handful of courses that people have played at over the years. So you can have a little bit of a baseline to figure out who's done well at, Amex and, Zurich and, other places. And then you've got the one-off, majors that pop up, like the Ocean Course, at Kiowa, and that's coming back up in May. So this will be a good trial run for that. And then, you've got the other one that Rory won is escaping me, not Crooked Stick. The other one in 2010. Anyway, he's just got a handful of courses out there. So there's a pretty good baseline. So dialed that up. And then, course history is kind of in there too, but I dialed it down a little bit too, because I think form is going to play really more of a part than course history. So that's where it came up. And then, I dialed back the last couple of weeks. I had the Bermuda up, but I dialed it back just because of the overseed, but it's still in there just because it's the one piece of information I have. So it shook out pretty well. I mean, I think the names are in the right spot, and there's some value plays here and there. And as when we get to the optimal, you'll see that it popped out something that we're all pretty happy with. So I guess we can get to it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm real happy with the optimal. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, baby!" And I'm going to put it on the scroll here in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and get to our. I'm going to go ahead and scroll if you guys are okay. I'm going to go ahead and scroll our top 12, and then we're going to go right to our plays. So let me go ahead and get that going, and people can just take a look at that while we talk about our plays. We are going to start with our 10K and above. There's only a few of them up there, so it's really stupid for us to be fading anybody, but we got to do it. It's the rules. We can't break Hammercast Network rules, and corporate will come down on us. And so, Nick, let's go ahead and start with the guru. Let's start with you, buddy.
Well, I'm going to fade DJ. I'm going to start there because it's easier to take the one you don't want. So, yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So he's played here 11 times. So, the last four aren't really bad. You've got the 28th and the 12th and the 17th and the 5th, and it's nice. But, the other ones before that all kind of suck. And, what's kind of scary is the last two starts, with the 8th and the 54th, he's actually got, here in 2021. So it kind of puts that element of doubt in your head. And if anybody could flip a switch and turn it on, I mean, I get it. But, he's 40th in the comp course list I have, which is low, So again, we've been talking about this a couple of weeks. We're splitting hairs, but I kind of like going down that road. So yeah, if I was going to not play one, it's probably him. And to be honest with you, I'm probably not going to play anybody above 10K. I'm probably just going to live in the 9s and the 8s. But if I have to fade a 10 and above guy, it's going to be DJ. The two I like. So I'm all over Rory, and yeah, I know he popped at number 7, but he probably deserves a little bit higher. But I like the fact that he's playing with Sergio and Webb. I think that'll actually, do well for him. He's 3rd in the comp course component and got built in the model. And if you look at the last 24, 6th off the tee, 44th in approach, 73rd around the green, 63rd putting, 3rd in driving distance, and 12th in birdies. So it's a good kind of recent component. And then the season stuff I kind of like. So he's 6th in early scoring average. So he's teeing off early. So he probably will get off to a good start. So he's not really a bad. It's worth considering for a first round leader bet there. He's 10th birdie or better, 24th in par 5 scoring average. He's 8th in proximity to the hole from the sand. So if he happens to get in a bunker, he'll probably get it pretty close because his game's pretty good. And then he's 15th tee to green. So those are kind of some of the reasons why I like him. Then I'm going back to the Rombo well. I know it's.
I already wrote it down.
Gotcha. So season stats there. So he's 3rd in total driving, 4th tee to green, 18th par 3 scoring average, 6th in par 5 scoring average, and 21st birdie or better. And then the last 24 that I like, 5th off the tee, 17th in approach, 40th around the green. The 99th in putting is a little concerning, but if it really plays more like a bent Poa type thing, I think that'll actually do well for him. 3rd greens and regs, 12 sand saves, 11 in birdies, 30 driving distance, and 33 accuracy. So yeah, those are the two I'm going to ride with, and I'm going to leave DJ on the sidelines.
So Rahm and Rory.
Yeah.
I was really surprised you didn't put our number one guy up there.
Yeah, but he's 97, so give me a chance.
Oh, no, you're right. Oh, I'm sorry. I know he's coming. Okay, hey, Justin, let's go, man. Let's give me your 10Ks.
Okay, well, I'm rolling with DJ just for kind of the same, his last three are his best three, and I think he's coming around, and I think you'll probably see him play really well again this week. I won't be playing any of those guys probably, but he'll be my number one guy from that range. Also, Xander. I think kind of no one's talking about him lately. He's been you'd say underachieving. He's been playing great, but he's not winning. So, he's coming off. He's had a little break. I'll roll with Xander as well, and I'll fade Rory. I'm just gonna stay on it.
Come on, man.
It's worked. Yeah,
our boy don't want to hear that.
Hey, I mean, he's he came in 10th, kind of backed into a 10th last week. I guess that's he's right there, but if you're getting Rory, you're expecting a top 5 or a win. And
I agree, and he's still in the 10K range.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and fade him, and I'll take my chances.
All right, Pro, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because we're basically talking about 4 guys here.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And so for me, I'm going to go with Jon Rahm as well. I'm going to go with Jon Rahm as well here. Jon Rahm last year kind of gagged the tournament away by making a boneheaded mistake. I just think his game right now is as good as anybody around. I'm also going to take Xander Schauffele in this one. This is the hard is the fade, of course, because again, we're only talking about 4 people here. I was reading an article earlier today about Rory's comments post Sunday at the API, and a lot of what we talked about previously, how he's not trusting, he has a 2-way miss, club's getting back too far inside, which normally is an outside to inside drop into the golf club. So I think it's just hard for me to fade one of these guys. However, with the way that Rory closed with the 76, the comments that were made, I mean, shit, we're pulling hairs here. So I'm actually going to fade Rory as well. So I will go with Rombo and Xander.
Wow. So we got 2 Rory fades and a DJ. And like I said, this is dumb. These aren't true fades. It's just guys. I mean, I'm probably not going to play most of these guys. I'm going to have a few lineups with them in. For me, I'm going with DJ as my number one guy. I did my model, and I used off the tee. I used approach, 35% off the tee, 25% approach. I did strokes gained in ball striking, 10%, bogey avoidance, 10%, good drives, 10%, and birdie or better, 10%, along with the 35 and 25. And DJ in the last 36 rounds in this field, number 1 in bogey avoidance, number 1 in ball striking, number 1 in strokes gained approach, number 2 in birdie or better, and number 4 in good drives. Dude, that's a slam freaking dunk. And off the tee, he was at 22. But to me, he's ready. He's ready to blow it up. And so I'm going with him. And my second 10K play is Rahm. He finished number 2 in our model, right there, as you can see. And he finished number 2 right behind Dustin Johnson in my personal model. And the fact that he's number 2 in ball striking, he's number 4 off the tee, he's 14th approach. I mean, he's good everywhere. And I think Pro said it a couple of weeks ago. I mean, if the guy plays at his best, he's hard to beat.
Yep.
And so, I love this. The only question this week by one of our fans on the comment is, how many strokes does Rory win by?
I'm willing to say that neither of these 4 guys in the 10K range are winning this golf tournament. I could be wrong, but I feel like
statistics show that they aren't. And Rory is indeed my fade. I'm not going to fade DJ. I'm not going to fade Rahm. I'm not going to fade Xander. And so, but Rory in this field, the same exact metrics as the other guys, Sure, he's third off the tee. He's sixth in birdie or better. He's 19th in bogey avoidance, but he's 95th in good drives. And he's 22nd in ball striking. He's 78th in approach right now. Until he shows what he can do on a Sunday and plays up to his level, I'm not going to play a guy $10,600 that
16-1. Yeah,
I just can't do it. And so anyway, it's a lot of fun playing this. Like I said, it's really ridiculous to say we're fading these guys, but you know what? We're having a lot of fun. And we got a comment. Rory has been lifting 12-pound weights to prepare for lifting the trophy on Sunday. Oh my God!
Is this Rory? Is that actually Rory?
That's
Burner account.
Workout routine. Oh, I love it. I love this guy. Okay, let's get to the 9K range. Go ahead, Guru. What do you got in 9K?
Let me give
money goes.
Let me give you a Rory story real fast. So,
all right.
So Dye died last year, so they never really got the tourney. So this is the first players. Hopefully, the whole thing gets. So hopefully, it's something magical and great and perfect. But there was an article that came out last year, and I'm just going to paraphrase. I think it was in Golf Digest that basically Rory was talking about. He hated Dye courses at the beginning. He was terrible. He thought they sucked because basically it forced him into doing something, and he compared it to beer. He basically said it's like drinking your first glass of beer. The first time you drink the beer, you're like, what the hell is this shit? This is terrible. But then you start to have more and more and you realize it's not half bad. And then you find one you like and it's like, hey, this is your drink of choice. And he kind of said that's what his take was like on the Dye courses. And he started to figure out and realizes that he couldn't beat it. He just figured out how to play it. And then he, got good. I'm not saying he'll win, but if the man likes some beer, he can't be all bad.
That's right. And this is where golf died last year. I mean, this was the tournament where everything got shut down, which is why we don't have a winner from last year.
So depressing. We're not going to go there.
Yeah.
Okay. Justin, I know you want to pour one out for Decky with me, right? From last year?
I tell you what, man. I'm a big Hideki fan. I just can't bring myself to bet on him anymore. He's burnt me too many times.
Well,
but yeah,
stay tuned.
That first round last year was pretty silky smooth. I mean, he came out. That was as good as that's prime Hideki, and unfortunately, we didn't get to see him close it. But he'll come out ready this year too. We'll see what he's got.
We'll see.
All right, so
Guru.
9K. I'm gonna take Bryson. It's pretty tough to go back to back, but and I rarely do it. But to be honest with you, Bryson's never been number one in any of the models I've ever done. He's been close, but first time he's been there. But everything's just clicking across the board, and I'm going to give it a shot. The things that stand out, he's the only one that was top 10% in all the categories I had based on the field on the model, and that's been a pretty good metric in prior models. He was the number 4 Dye specialist I had. And he was number 2 in the comp courses.
Dye specialist.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, the last 24.
We call him the tie-dye specialist.
I wanted to put on my card.
No, I really like that. It should be on a T-shirt somewhere.
The last 24, I won't bore you with him, but he's near the top of the charts. But the interesting ones that I liked were more in the season stats. So, for next week, maybe I'll put in a special category. Yeah. So, he's number 1 in early scoring average, number 3 in bounce back on the year, 6 birdie or better, number 1 par 3 scoring average, number 1 par 5 scoring average. He's 16th in putts from 10 to 15 feet, which is probably better than a lot of us give him credit for. And then he's 38th in putts from inside 10 feet, and then he's 18th in total driving. I don't want to say he's on the run of a heater, but if Brendan Todd can run, win 2 and go for a third, I don't know why Bryson can't, keep it going, especially in Florida. So he's going to get my 9K love. Or some of my 9K love. And then I'm going to, again, it's amazing how things change in a week. But Hovland's number 3 in the model. And so I'm going to go from, fading him last week to playing him this week.
What did he die? Has anybody found Victor Hovland? What the hell was that weekend?
What a weekend! Yeah.
It made that fade look better and better. It took till Saturday to get there.
I knew he was going to say that.
It took till Saturday, but that's all I'm going to say. His numbers are pretty good. He hasn't really played. He got the 1 run in last year, and I think he was a 69 or something like that. So I think he can handle the course okay. I think the pairing with Cantley and JT will actually be pretty good. I wouldn't be surprised if actually all three of them, did pretty well and elevated, each other's games up. But it's the season stats for Hovland that really stick out for me. So he's 8th tee to green, 9th in birdie average, 10th in scoring average, 23rd in greens and reg, 3rd in round 2 scoring average. So he may start slow, but he'll probably pick it up on Friday. He's 20th in par 4 and par 5 scoring average, 13th in birdie or better, and then 4th in a bounce back. So, if he screws up, he'll get it back pretty quick. So, I'm probably going to ride those two and see where it gets me. It's a little bit of yin and yang, but we'll see how it goes. Now, the 9K fade was really tough because you're still kind of splitting hairs, but then really you kind of narrow it down to 2 and then you flip a coin. And I figured I'd leave the other one for you guys. So then I'll take the one that you guys probably won't take. So I'm going to fade Patrick Reed. So the season stats, if you really look up close, are actually really kind of gross. So he's 149th in greens and reg, 133rd total driving, 114th in approach from 1,525 yards, 149th in scrambling, and I think it's 132nd in par 3 scoring average. And then if you look at the 6 times he's been here, he missed the cut 24th, missed the cut 22nd, 41st, and 47th. He could pop a top 10, top 20, and that's fine. But, if you're expecting him to do more than that, I don't know that he can. Or I should say, I don't know that he will. I think he can.
He can.
But you're looking for something, and that was probably the most negative thing I could really find on anybody in the 9Ks. So yeah, he's my fade, and it hurts because I really actually like Patrick Reed.
I do too.
Well, this is going to be a fun round here then. All right, Justin, let's go, man.
Okay, so this is actually my favorite player of the week in any range, but Patrick Cantley.
I thought you were going to say Patrick Reed. I was going to spit my drink out.
I just think at 9,200 is super cheap for him. He's been off 2 weeks, and it wasn't like he was hurt. He was sick, I guess, before the workday.
Yeah, a little stomach virus. They said it's nothing to worry about, but
so I mean, I think he's going to come out sharp, and he's 3rd on shots gains total. And I just think, just with the eye test with him more than anything, I think he's been right around it, and this could be the week he breaks through.
I really like that price. I mean,
can't
argue with the price.
22-1 to bet on him. I mean, I like it. My second guy is a past winner. I was on him a couple weeks ago. Webb Simpson.
You love Webb Simpson.
I do, man. That guy
should, rightfully so. But you love you some Webb Simpson.
Yeah, he's so consistent, and I like his price right there, and I'll take him and Cantley in that range all day before any of the 10K combos that are out there.
And that's a good point, because I really like the 9 and 8K range this week.
Me too.
There's some 7K guys I really think could sneak up on us. We're going to get to those.
Yeah.
All right. So you got a fade in this range?
Yeah, I'm gonna fade JT. I've heard some people that are high on him. He's just something's not there for him right now, and I haven't.
We keep waiting for him to prove what he can do, but
I know it's in there.
He has not been great.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and until it's the cheapest you'll ever see him. He's not in the 10K range for first time in forever, and but still I'm gonna have to stay away until I see him put a couple good rounds together.
I can respect that. Hey, Pro, I know you've been thinking long and hard about these 9K guys.
Yeah, kind of feel like Colin Morikawa's been disrespected by you guys, both of you. Listen, at $9,400, I think Colin Morikawa is perfect at this golf course. Of course, coming off his win, 2 weeks ago at WGC Concession Workday, whatever the hell it was called. So I do like him at 9,400. A guy that I cannot stop playing is Tony Finau, especially at 9,100. I'm sorry, I can't stop doing it. The dude hasn't won, but he's there every week. And then Patrick Cantley. Patrick Cantley to me is a guy that you have to plug and play. We're bonding with the stomach virus thing. We have that going for both of us. And then my fade's Bryson. And here's the deal, and I know the model hates it. Yes, we're talking about coming off a win, which I do tend to fade people coming off a win. However, I also love that They came out today and pretty much said that if you try to drive it left of 18, then it's OP. So they put in the Bryson rule today. Listen, it's more coming off the win. The whatever the hell we watched with Bryson doing celebrations after hitting tee shots, I cannot handle another week of that. I hope it's an MC for Bryson. I know you guys don't like that, and the model doesn't.
Well, the model has a number one.
I know. And again, I could be wrong, but I do tend to like fading a guy after a win. And to be honest with you, when I looked at that 9K range, those three guys just popped right out to me. Same thing happened with the 8K range. Again, like you guys mentioned, in DK this week, you can stay away from the 10K range and really start building a roster in the 9 and 8 spots. So I'm going to fade Bryson.
I hear you, man. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun in the chat.
No doubt
up with this because we're pretty across the board here. I am going to go ahead and wrap this 9Ks up. I've got Tony Finau, $9,100. The way he's been playing, he's going to be there. I'm not saying he's going to win the thing, but he's damn sure going to pay off 9,100. And so I'm definitely going to have him in my lineup. I mean, Tony Finau. Let's just look at it in my metrics. Gosh, the guy's, fifth overall in my ranking. He's fourth in birdie or better. I mean, he's 11th in ball striking overall. I mean, he's just $9,100. He's almost in the 8K range, and that's just
awesome.
Not right.
At everything except occasional putting. That's really all it comes down to Tony Finau. He's that good.
So I'm on Finau. I'm also on who. I got to get my boy Victor Hovland.
Yeah.
I love him, and I just think this course is set up perfectly for him. He's fourth in my model. He's third in our model, Nick. Third.
Yes, sir. Third.
And when I look at the last 36 rounds in my metrics, oh my God. Fourth overall, fifth off the tee, seventh in birdie or better, seventh in ball striking. He's 23rd in approach. And he's becoming clutch, and he's getting better and better around the greens, and I just like what he's doing. And once again, he was a guy that was actually expecting to be a little bit higher, $9,300, and so I'm all in on him, and I'm probably going to have action on him as well. And then my fade,
go ahead.
My fade is Patrick Reed. And I promise you, I had mine all written down last night, and so I know Guru gave a lot of really good points on Reed, but on my 36 measurements, Patrick Reed's best statistic is eighth in birdie or better, but he's 60th in approach, 90th in good drives, 54th in ball striking, and 60th in bogey avoidance, and so. At that price point, I'm not playing him.
And coming off a miscut, I believe.
Yeah, he came off a miscut. But, a lot of people will argue coming off a miscut is when he plays best. And with all the big names there, it's kind of like that Ryder Cup prove it mentality. And so, there's a lot of people out there liking him. And you know what? He may burn us all. I don't think to Guru's point, I don't think he's going to win. He may surprises and finish top 10, top 5. But I like other guys better, and that's why I faded him. There's a lot of good players in the 9K range. I could have talked about it for a long time. I do like this comment here. Hard to find a course that Hovland wouldn't do well at.
Hovland's going to be a guy that's talked on this show a lot, and he's going to be one of those guys that is going to be up in that 10K range consistently moving forward.
Right.
Because he's just improving.
Right. Well, I'll open up the 8K range and then swing it to you guys. My 8K range, I start with Terrell Hatton. Terrell Hatton, $8,500. Let's not forget how good Terrell Hatton is. Yeah, he didn't have the best tournament last week, but he sure showed a lot of fight and came back strong after that +5 on Thursday. Are you kidding me? And what I really like about him in this field in the last 36 rounds, I mean, gosh, he's ninth overall in my ranking. Where's he at in our ranking? Where's he at on our sheet, Guru?
20.
Okay, top 20. I think he should be a 9K player, and he's $8,500. And so for that reason, I'm playing him. He's got 11th in approach out of the field, 16th in ball striking, and that's good enough for me when you think about approach and ball striking. That's what this course is all about to me, and I think he's going to play very well, and he's definitely worth the $8,500. My second 8,000 player is a little bit more expensive at 8,900, but you guys know I have a man crush on Scotty Scheffler. You guys knew it was coming, didn't you?
Yeah, no, we did. We did.
But you won't believe how happy and how excited I was when I saw the Guru report, and when he sent that sucker over, like. I'm going straight to the lobby, and I did, and I really
house. No, Scott Scheffler.
Hey man, the guy's 13th in drives, 15th off the tee. The only thing I'm worried about is his approach is in the back half. He's 1/10 in approach, but he sure makes up for it with the other things.
He's a birdie machine too.
He's a birdie machine and he's in the top half of the field, in the top third of the field, in bogey avoidance as well. But he'll get his share. But I just like him, and I know Guru really likes him this week. And if it's good enough for Guru this week, he's good enough for me. And on the 8K range, we go with three guys. The last guy is Sung J M. I'm going back to the well. He loves Florida. He's getting his groove, and quite honestly, $8,300. He's near the bottom of the 8K range. Give me M all day, and I feel good about him. He's 8th off the tee, 12th in good drives. He's 18th in birdie or better, and 42 in bogey avoidance. And so, yeah, give it to me. I'll take him. And finally, my fade is Jason Day at 8K. I just don't know, man. I mean, and I know one of you guys may be playing him, or maybe you have proof on why I'm making a mistake. But when I looked at my numbers, his best statistic was 17th in bogey avoidance, but in ball striking in this field in the last 36 rounds, 123rd. Okay, 98th in good drives, 128th in birdie or better, 149th in strokes gained approach. 117th off the tee, and he's ranked. No, 117 off the tee was my next fade. I'll talk about him in a second. 47th off the tee, but my overall ranking for Day for this week, 97th. Oof. I'll probably get crushed on that one, but in the 8K range, I'm not playing him. There's too many other options. Even at the very bottom of the 8K range, there's too many other options. There's some 7K players I'll play over him all day. And so, in DraftKings, it's all about value, and for him, the value is still too high based on those statistics. Guru,
don't disappoint me, Guru.
What did you think of that fade first?
I thought it was pretty good. But you play him for the course history, and you play him because he likes die courses. So the model has him third on die courses, and then I don't have it in front of me, but he's got like 3 top 10s here or something ridiculous. It's just one of those courses I think he could flip a switch on and do okay, provided he doesn't want to go to, Disney World this week or something and pull the new stays in or whatnot. So, I mean, I get it. I mean, he was on my short list, but I went a different way. And okay. Actually, I went one way and then I flipped it another way. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So I'll piggyback off of Scheffler since he was 6th in the model. So I was going to take him too. You mentioned all the good stuff, the stuff that I really like. We're really just season stuff, and I'll touch it real quick. So he's 9th in round 1 scoring average. So if he's having a good week, he should get off to a pretty good start tomorrow. And he seemed to do well at the stadium course at the MX. I know he missed the cut, this past year. Also, that's where Patrick Reed blew up and was doing great till he just, decided he didn't want to play anymore. So maybe he'll remember and go through the muscle memory and get it all back. I don't know. Hopefully he blows up again too. He's number 1 in total driving on the year though. So Scotty will put it in play and keep it in play, hopefully. And then, we talked about him being a birdie machine. He's got 4 top 20s in his last 6 starts. So I think he's in pretty good form too. So, I mean, if he likes the course and just having a good day Thursday, it should probably be a pretty good week. So I'm going to play him, and that 8,900 you can't beat. I'm going to play Hideki, and you could laugh all the way because I'm going to do it one more time. So he's number 22 on the He's number 22 on the die specialist die portion of the model, whatever you want to call it. So you play him for the course history. So he's 23rd, 17th, 7th, 22nd. He's got the miscut in 8th. And then his last two weeks, he's got 15th or last two starts, he's got 15th and 18th. So maybe he's rounding in, and I'm going to keep saying it. I'd rather be a week early than a week late. So if this is the week early, I don't want to say he's got a course, but there's only a handful of places he routinely does. He's done well over the years, and this is one of them. So if you're going to play him, now's the time. There's nothing really super impressive on his season stats, but they're probably better than you give him credit for, because he's 20th tee to green. He's 24th par 5 scoring average, 38th in approach, 31st around the green, 56th off the tee, and a pretty abysmal 168th in putting. But the last 24, he is 5th in eagles, 42nd in approach, and all the other good stuff that we won't mention. Then I went a little further down the board for my third. So I heard you guys talking about it. We were talking about early in the week and whatnot. Bravo. Yes.
Hey, there's some good JV high school putty.
There are. Yeah. Everybody was a JV high school putter at some point.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Speaking of JV high school putters, so my third, I'm going to go with Adam Scott. So he is 54th in the model, but he is the Charles Howell of the week. So his last 8 years here, he's got the 15th, 19th, 38th, 12th, 6th, 11th, and 12th. And then he won God knows how many years ago. So, I mean, I think even really not being in the best of form, I think he could just pull a Jason Day, show up and do it. Day's probably got the higher upside, where Day's more likely to probably pop in the top 10, but I would think, Adam Scott popping in the top 20 would probably be automatic. So I'm going to ride that. His last 24 aren't really awesome, but I'm going to do it anyway. But he's a surprising 45th in greens and reg and 35th with the putter. And then the season stats that I like, he is 16th from 50 to 125 in approach. And then he's 19th in round one scoring average. So again, hopefully he can get off to a pretty good start and just carry that into Friday and the weekend. I'm going to
follow up. I'm going to follow up on the Adam Scott thing, and I'm going to give credit to Pat Mayo. I got a stat from him. He said that Adam Scott has more rounds in the 60s than any player in this field, and of course, he's won here. And so I know his form is not great, but earlier you talked about horse for the course, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised to see you put him in there, and I was going to mention him. So. Very cool.
He can't beat that 80-1. He's a name. If he flips
80-1. I've already put on Twitter on Monday.
Flips a switch. I mean, it's worth taking a flyer. So, I talk about being on a guy a week early and a week late. Well, I'm going to get off a guy, I think probably a week early. So, yeah, exactly. You've played here enough. You're going to know the angles. He's going to know where to put the ball, keep it in play, and not screw it up. If he had better bounce back numbers, I'd be even happier. But we're going to ride this sucker out and see how it goes. So my fade this week, after being on in the last couple weeks, I'm going to fade Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Ooh.
That's a big boy fade for me because he's 19th in the model. But when you really look at him up close, the stuff's not really that great. And I think the other courses in Florida have been a better fit for him. I'm not really convinced this is a great fit for him. But season stats, he's 165th greens and reg, 140th total driving, 108th in scrambling, 102 in par 5 scoring average. He's 207 in that 125 to 150 approach bucket. And then you look at his last 24, he's 74th in eagles, 102 in pars, 112 greens and reg, 51st in approach, 33rd off the tee, 37 around the green, and 24th in putting. But then his 4 trips here, he's missed the cut twice, 46th and 61st. So, yeah, he can take that top 50 all day long, and bye-bye. So, yeah, he's my fade.
Wow, I like it. Hey, Justin, don't be falling asleep on us, boy.
No, I'm not. I'm sitting here looking. A guru made a point earlier about with the greens, how it might be more similar to the West Coast greens, and that brings me to a guy who was one start removed from winning on the West Coast, Daniel Berger.
All right. I was waiting for someone to pick Berger.
Yeah,
and so was our boy Ryan.
Yeah, I'll take him at. I think earlier in the week he was 40-1. I think that might have dropped a little bit. What do you have him at? 30 to 33?
33-1. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll ride with that. Anytime I'm going to get Berger in the in the 8K and at 33-1, easy decision for me.
I like Berger too, but there's only so many picks you can pick.
Yeah. Right. You already went over Eam. Just picture of consistency. I know what I'm getting. He's going to make the cut. He's gonna get me the points I need in the 8K range. And then we've already went over Jason Day. I mean, I can't get past the course history. I mean, he's played well recently. I know he played really poorly, and I think that's, in the not too distant past. And I think that's why some of his stats aren't where you'd like to see him. But
they're not even close. But yeah, I get it.
At this course, it'll be probably the only one you'll see me roll with him. But I'll go with Day this week. My fade, pro, Spieth. He just has not played well here. He's played well lately. But
I will say this: the degenerates are pretty good at this stuff.
So I'll leave it at that. I don't want to badmouth him too much with the pro coming up next, but Spieth's going to be my fade.
That's fair. Hey, every week that we've come on and everybody's been hating on Spieth, he's been chalk making money. Yeah. He's been really damn good. My first pick is Jordan Spieth at 8,600. I was really rooting for the guru to back me up. He did not. Listen, yes, you're right. Course history here has not been great. Just to me, he's playing really damn well. And I expect him to be a top 25 guy with 8,600. We're loving that. It's been tough. Yes, it does. That's true. It's really true. But here's the deal. I mean, the guy he's been consistent lately. The last 4 or 5 weeks, he's been good. I know that it's tough to throw these numbers on Spieth because you go back and you look, it's been a 2.5-year struggle, a 2-year struggle. So when you go back and look at some of these things, it's easy to not pick him. I'm rolling with him. He's been great lately. Terrell Hatton is my next guy. This 8K range was super easy for me.
Yeah.
Terrell Hatton is the fact that you come out and fire 77 and then go 65 and then 66. I mean, the fact that he backed the model up last week because we were loving some Terrell Hatton in that first round 77, but the fact that he came back with the bounce back he did, and he had a late afternoon tee time on Sunday. It was impressive. I mean, I love the way this guy plays. You can argue he's been one of the best players in the world for the last year and a half. It's hard to argue he hasn't. If not, he's been top 3. And then Daniel Berger. Daniel Berger's been consistent, man. And Daniel Berger may be the most underrated player on the PGA Tour, in my opinion. He's, again, when he plays, he's placing, he's making cuts. He's top 25 guy. And my fade is Hideki, and all Falcon Day says it. He can't putt. And I think sometimes on these green complexes, although he has had some success in the past year, sometimes in these green complexes, you can get in the wrong spot and it's easy to 3-putt. I look at kind of all the par 3s on this golf course outside of 17. They all play somewhere around 185. They're not extremely long. I think 12 in particular has a bottom lower shelf. If you get outside of where you need to be, if you get on the wrong slope, it's really hard to just go on a 2-putt around here. That's the reason I'm fading Hideki. What do I think about Daniel Berger's swing? Well, it looks like an unfolded lawn chair. But however, I mean, he's been as consistent as they are. He plays a beautiful low little buttercut and he puts himself in position. And by the way, the dude can roll the rock, right? I mean, he can putt the ball. Daniel Berger, again, I think is the most underrated player in golf, and I'm glad
was putting it really good on the West Coast.
Yeah, and I think that we'll see it continue. Again, this 8K range, I love it this week.
Yeah.
Even heading into 7K, I like. It's again, I just think that the 10K guys you could stay away from if you really want to try to build a rounded roster.
You can build a lineup in 7 and 8 all day.
Yep.
And so I agree with that. Why don't you go ahead and kick off the 7K while you're there? We'll go reverse.
I'm going with the mullet man, Cameron Smith. He's been super consistent. He looks like an asshole out there with that haircut. However, he's been playing really well. At WGC, he faded on Sunday, but he was right there. I think a guy that, again, is undervalued a little bit when we come to this thing. At 7,900 with his consistency, just because he looks like a fool, they might have dropped 1,000 on him as far as betting odds. But I'm going to go with Cam Smith and then Max Homa. I don't know if we even need to say much more about Max Homa. Max Homa's been super consistent
in our model.
Yeah, I mean, he's been super consistent, and a guy that I follow a lot. I know he put a lot of time into his game in the offseason. He's now worked his way into being a consistent player, where he's a guy that you can somewhat chalk in at a 7,600. And then I'm going to go with the guy that's had past good experience here in Sergio Garcia, who is just a ball striking delight, right? He's going to hit fairways. He's going to hit greens. He's a guy I like. And then my fade's Bubba Watson. It's easy for me to fade Bubba, right? It is. Like, there was some 7,300 guys that I can fade, but if Bubba Watson doesn't love a golf course, he's completely out on it. Like, that's the thing about Bubba. You see a majority of Bubba's wins are at the same golf course, at Riv, at Augusta. It's just if he doesn't necessarily love this golf course, then he won't play well. Although I'm surprised, because this golf course does allow for you to work the ball, and you would think that it would fit well with what he does. But I'm going to go ahead and fade Bubba at the 7K range.
So we got a question. Do you think Homa might hit a wall at some point? Either one of you guys give your thought, and Guru give your thought, or whoever else.
Well, go with Drew first, just because, I mean, what is it, like 8 weeks in a row? Yeah. I mean, is that kind of performance pretty sustainable?
Look at Song JM. He plays every week. No, I think you're right. At some point you might think he did a wall, but we're in a stretch right now where you're going to have to grind and play golf through the Masters. Then you get a little break. He is riding heater. I think his game's there. And I mean, we even coming off the win, he still played well the following week. Yeah, of course, eventually it's going to end to an extent, but he's hitting a lot of fairways, and he's rolling the wall very well. I expect him to at least make the cut and potentially be in contention come Sunday.
You know how when guys get really hot in basketball and the hoop seems like it's 10 feet wide, and baseball looks like a softball? That's Max Homa right now. He's not, finishing top 3 every tournament, but boy, he sure is in every one of them, and his ball striking is on point.
Yeah, he's dialed in. He's putting for birdie. He's not out there scrambling. He's putting for birdie on these holes. I mean, he's playing.
Right.
So he's a lovely 12th in the model, but I think this may be the week the wheels fall off. I'm not saying not to play him, but I've seriously tempered my expectations after letting the model do its thing and then looking behind it just to see what's in there. So to answer Ryan's question,
you can think what you want to think, and I love the fact that you said that, because just because the model says it, you still got to have an opinion on what you think will happen. But the model's been so good, and so
this is one of the hardest golf tournaments of the year to predict.
It is. This is fun though, right?
Right, absolutely.
Justin, what do you got, man? I know you got to get out of here shortly too.
Okay, so I actually, we've hit on Homa. I like him this week. His price range is still extremely low, in my opinion, as well as he played. So, not digging into him too deep again, but I like Homa.
Got you down.
My number one guy in the 7K range, Answer. Easy call. I love
that guy. He's a birdie making machine too.
Yeah, he's top 20 in 6 of the last 11 tournaments that he's played. He was 12th at the Players in 2019. He's first in driving accuracy on tour, and driving accuracy is going to matter this week. And y'all hear me talk about him all the time. I love that guy. So when it all lines up like that, sign me up.
All right. So who else you got?
My third is I'll go back with Tommy Fleetwood. He struggled. He struggled a little bit, like everyone did last week, but his game is rounding into form. And I won't dig into him too deep, but I'll roll with Fleetwood and feel pretty good about it. My fade, Molinari, again.
It works every week.
Yeah, that one. He's going to keep I'll keep fading him, and I feel great about that one too. So.
All right, Guru, let's go here.
So I won't answer like everybody else. Just a couple things just to throw in there. So he was the number 16 die guy in the model, and then he's got top 20% in the field in terms of average DraftKings points on the model, so he can score. And then he's 10th in greens and reg the last 24 and 14th in birdies. So he's going to hit it. He's going to score. He makes some sense. So yeah, he's a play. Again, difference a week makes. I'm going to jump on Sam Burns and give it a shot since I didn't play him last week.
Right. We were a week early on him, weren't we?
Yeah. So like I was kind of on home on off Burns last week, and now I'm kind of on Burns, and I think I'm off home this week. But he's number 17 with the die specialist, number 24 comp courses, top 20% in the field, average DraftKings points. And then the last 24, he's 29th off the tee, 22nd approach, 8th in putting, and then that 128 around the green. Don't really need him top 10, just need him to hit the top 20 and score, and we'll call it a day. Then I kind of wanted to go a couple of different ways with this third one, but I ended up back at the starting point. So I'm going to ride Corey Connors one more week. I'm a little nervous about doing it, I'm not going to lie, but the stats are too good to pass. And, we liked him last week. He didn't really do anything to warrant not liking him this week. It's more just whether or not you think how he fits the course. But, the ball striking has been good for such a long period of time. It's hard not to do it. And, just
I had the same conversation with myself. I was like, "Why? How are you not picking Corey Connors?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know."
I don't know. Not really sure where I would have gone because there's a couple other guys, like a couple other places I could have gone, but Connors makes the most sense. I'm going to fade Mark Leishman. It's not really sexy. It's not really glamorous. It's just solid.
Solid fade.
And his course history here is just not great. I mean, miscut, 45, 8, 23, 24, 64, miscut, 63, miscut. And then, his last 24 stats aren't really spectacular, and he doesn't really do great on the die courses. So yeah, he's a fade.
Yeah, I like that.
Good deal.
Sure.
All right.
And the model hates him.
Let me wrap up the 7K range. I really love what you guys have done. I will caveat that and leave the post on the video right now because Connors is in good form. He's in such great form in my model, which I always use your model first, but I love doing this because I just like doing it. In my model, he's third overall, Connors. He's sitting there 13th off the tee, 13th in approach, 15th in birdie or better, number 1 in good drives, number 8 in ball striking, and 28th in bogey avoidance. He's playing great. He's striking it well. He needs to quit. He needs to focus a little better on those 4 to 7 foot putts, and that might help. And if he can do that, and from what I understand, this might be a better surface for him than a pure Bermuda. Then he just fits so well. So he's faux show a 7K play, and he will be in my 80-1 range along with Adam Scott. On the action as well. Other guy, and none of you guys, I'm surprised, have mentioned my next two guys, and so I'll be the only ones with these two guys, and you guys can already guess who one of them is because I fall for the old trick every single week, but I really, really, really like Zalatoris again. I know.
No reason not to.
Dude, he's actually, 6th in my model. 20th off the tee, 6th in approach. He's 6th in ball striking, 21st in bogey avoidance, 66th in good drives, but he's accurate, okay? And so anyway, I like Zalatoris. I like the way he's striking the ball. He's $7,600, and I'll take that all day. And then I'm also going back to Joaquin Neiman. What's not to like about that guy? And I'm sure Guru can share a few negatives about him because he's down a little further in our model, but I've got him pretty high based on what I look at. 8th off the tee, 9th in birdie or better, 13th in ball striking. I really like ball striking as a benchmark this week, and then my fade is a big one. And you guys are all gonna say, okay, here he goes. I'm fading Fleetwood. I'm fading Fleetwood, and I don't see what everybody else is seeing. And as a matter of fact, I've got him at. And you guys are going to laugh at me, and this is going to completely ruin my credibility if he comes out and just plays crazy. I got him 134th in my rankings. He's damn near last. That's based on the form, what I'm looking at. Obviously, pay no attention to what I'm doing. Don't do as I say. He's 17th off the tee, 117th off the tee. He's 127th in approach in this field. He's 83rd in birdie or better, 132nd in good drives. Ball striking, 128th, and 105th in bogey avoidance. Come on, man. I can't see playing that guy at almost $8,000, and so I get it. I need a new model if it says there's 133 better than Fleetwood this week, and I agree with that. I'm just saying that's what it spit out. It's not my model. It's the statistics. It's true statistics for the players in this field in the last 36 rounds and how they compare with the other players in the field. I'm not making it up. I didn't create the numbers. I punched them in, and that's what came out based on true statistics. And so based on that, that's why I got him out. Now, there's a lot of other factors that people put into play, and that ranks him way up higher, and I get it. But for me, that's who I'm fading.
Isn't it crazy Phil's at 7,000, and he's 350 to 1?
Nobody's even talking about Phil. It's almost as if he's like that.
Field. Yeah.
He's like that Mike Weir, or he's the old guy in the field. Nobody even talks about him anymore. But watch him make a cut and do pretty well for his price.
Yeah, 7K. Yeah, I mean, I honestly hadn't even looked at his name once.
I was just looking at the odds.
I didn't even think
350 to 1. I mean, Phil, what is he at? Yeah, he's at 7K. That's and by the way, I don't expect Phil to make the cut for the record, so I would not put my money on that 350 to 1. But
well, guys, let's jump into our value plays, our 6Ks. We don't have any fades in this. I'm going to throw a couple out there. I've got 4 value plays at 69, but I don't think I need to go there on any of them. I might have a few lineups where I do some stars and scrubs. But I like Keegan Bradley to play better, to continue playing well. He seemed to have found something, and at $6,900, he way outperformed it on a very tough course last week. And I know he faded a little bit on Sunday, but my goodness, yeah, I like him. I also like Grillo. I say Grillo. At $6,700, I really like him, and as a matter of fact, and then I got Hoffman,
Chucky,
and I'm going back to the well on Neesmith. Neesmith continues to pop. In this field, he's number 2 in good drives. He's number 4 in approach, and he's number 9 in ball striking. I mean, those 3 categories alone mean a lot. And he's at $6,700. So if you do want to play some stars and scrubs, like I did last week, remember me telling you my 6,200 super value was Bo Hogue? He finished tied for 26.
He paid off. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he paid off. And so those are the kind of guys that I might put in the lineup if I want to put in a DJ or a Rom and or a Shoffley or something like that. So those are some of my 6K guys. What do you got, Guru, on 6K?
Well, I've got 3 of the 4 that you had, which is pretty good. So let me try to spin it another way. So I'm going to go back to the Brian Harmonwell. He's a bit of a die. He's a bit of a die guy. The stats aren't really great, but he's 15th in the die aspect of it. And then the last 5 years here at Sawgrass, he's got 2 top 10s, along with 2 50 some odd finishes and a missed cut. So and he seems to do well on these kind of shorter courses, and haven't heard his name come up in a couple of weeks because just hasn't played. So maybe the time off will do him some good, and he can just magically throw up a top 20, and for his 60 some odd price, I think it'd be pretty good. And then along the same lines, they're all kind of bunched together in the model, so really any of them are pretty good. I don't think Kevin Stroman's a bad play either. You get those guys that are in their mid to late 30s, early 40s that played the course, made the rounds a couple of times. They know what their limitations are, their capabilities are. They know where to put the ball in play, and they're not going to go out and shoot a 63, but they're consistently probably shoot a 67, 68, and maybe they'll throw out that oddball 65 or 66 every now and again. I don't expect them to do that here because it's just a pretty tough place, but I definitely think they can make the cut and get onto the weekend and see what happens. So those are probably two names on top of your three that will probably be on my 6K short list. But as your main point, I really don't think you have to go into the 6K too often. I think there's a lot of value in the low sevens, and I think there's a lot of value in the 9K range especially. So I think you could really go build some strong lineups with 3 9K guys and fill it out with some 7 guys and be in pretty good shape.
Yep. Hey, we're going to go ahead and get Justin. Go ahead and give us your value plays, and then give us some of your bets for this weekend, if you have any you want to share, and then we'll get you out of here. All
right. Sounds good. Yeah. For my value plays, I had Harmon as well, who Guru hit on. I think he laid it out perfect. I like Harmon. I had Keegan just for surprised to see him. I thought he would be somewhere in the 7s, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
As well as he played. So a guy who has been mentioned, who I like, who 3 top 10s in his last 5 tournaments, including 2 top 5s, one being Puerto Rico. Andrew Putnam, 6,300.
He's on a roll.
Yeah, I mean that guy.
That's a really good value play. Really good value play. $6,300. He's like this week's Bo Hogue.
Yeah, 45th in the model. Yeah, I hope. Yeah, I think he's sitting around 175 to 1. So I got him for a top 10 at what is it? Plus 1,200 for a top 10. So
I like it.
Him, I might sprinkle something small and an outright maybe for him, but getting into my outrights that I had, it's the same guys that I had Cantley at 22 to 1. I'm liking Jason Day at 50 to 1, and I like Berger at 33 to 1. And those are the 3 guys that I've bet outright so far. I have Answer on some top 5s and top 10s. And we'll see. I'm sure I'll sprinkle in another 1 or 2 after digesting everything I've heard from you guys. Yep.
And we're gonna put our formal consensus picks up tomorrow on Twitter, along with everybody's independent picks, as well as unloading our new article, Profile of a Contender Nick is working on, and the final model. The model has everything from tee times to you name it, guys. I keep telling you guys, you got to get on that model, and you got to get on that article.
Information.
It's the best in the business, and I'll challenge anybody, any golf analyst, any program, any channel, any show, to put up better detailed statistical analysis and theory week to week than what we're putting out. So I went there. Bring it on, guys. Yeah. Hey, Justin, I know you got to bail. Thank you for coming on. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow, and we're going to go ahead and wrap up our side over here. So anyway, peace out.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Take it easy, bud.
All right, buddy. All right. That leaves you, Pro. You got some 6K value plays?
Yeah, it's funny. I have Keegan Bradley, Emiliano Grillo. The one guy that I have is Richie Rorinsky at 6,400. This is a guy that's coming off of a T4 at Arnold Palmer or at the API, top 21. Yeah, he finished T for 21 and T for 22 at American Express and Waste Management. He's a guy that family friends know. So he's a guy I keep an eye out for. And so he's just been playing really well in the value at 6,400. He's a guy that's making cuts. So I think that's kind of all you're looking for as far as that goes. The other 2 guys you guys had already mentioned, I think Zach Johnson's kind of a guy that can make the cut.
We got Ryan. Ryan put out Zach Johnson. Safe to make a cut.
Yeah, I think he's
his number? What's his price?
Zach Johnson is, I got the model pulled up here. Sorry, it's Zach Johnson. He's 6,800. Model has him at 79th. Yeah. Nice. Richie. Yeah, Rorinsky is better than Richie Fowler at this point.
Flower.
I'm surprised no one's. Yeah, Flower. Yeah, exactly. That was terrible. Yeah, but he's a guy that just because of for any other random reason, I'm keeping an eye out because I know people that know him. So. He's a guy that I like there, but yeah, I mean, you guys touched on those plays again. I think the bread and butter and meat and potatoes is 8-7, or the 7-8-9 range this week.
Yep, I'm definitely going to be playing some 9K plays. That's for show. And but I'm going to have some lineups that are going to be really, really balanced. I'll admit it. I'm going to have some stars and scrubs in there too. And you guys bring up some very valid points with some of these guys. Putnam, Warinsky, Zach Johnson, some of those guys. They're Naismith. They're all going to be in some of my lineups. I'm not afraid. I ain't scared.
Well, he popped that 61, so he can score. So yeah, it's a good ad for sure.
It. I do love that. Are you talking about Warinsky?
Yeah.
He can make some birdies.
Yep.
And so, at
and
that
he's
price
kind of just
point,
below the radar. If you're not paying attention to a guy like that, then. But
yep.
I mean, yeah,
like
the
I
value
said,
you can't beat it.
Star and scrubs lineup. You can get some of these guys in there, and you'll be surprised what you can get in that 10 and 9K range.
Yep.
And so, but to the point earlier, man, I'm not sure any of these 10K guys are worth it. So we'll see. You could put a lot of 9 and 8s in there with a couple of these 6K guys. You got any bets that you're for sure lined up on? You ready to talk about? Or are we going to save that for tomorrow?
Asking me or asking Drew?
Pro.
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple outrights that I like. Starting with Colin Morikawa at 22-1. I'd love to take Spieth at 30-1, but I can't. I do think there is value at Hatton 35-1.
Wait! You can't take Spieth at 30-1?
No, well, not for an outright. Now, if we're talking plus 350 for a top 10, then I can. I'm not willing to bet him outright at this point.
I think that's all he's waiting for.
So I got Morikawa, and then I'll take Hatton at 35-1. If there's a sleeper guy that I like, let's take a look here. So,
don't say Danny Willett. He withdrew.
No, I'm not. I would never say Danny Willett. Look at the. I know it's kind of far fetched, but 150-1 Keegan Bradley. I mean, listen, he's been playing well. I think that's throw a $5-10 in the ring and see what happens.
I know he doesn't. I know he doesn't like to brag, but Guru had Bradley last week, and talk about a fun sweat, huh? Until Sunday, anyway.
I had everybody I needed, but
who else was betting Keegan Bradley outright?
Yeah.
You did it. I mean, and I mean, gosh, you got some stuff. You know what he does, Pro? He saves some of his secret sauce for himself and doesn't share all. He does. I remember when he had Coke Rack right on the line there. I mean,
with Keegan, if he putts average with a guy like Keegan Bradley, if he putts average, he's going to be around. But the problem is he rarely putts average. So, but he's kind of an outside shot. At 150-1. Those are three guys I like. I love to see Spieth win outright, but again, I feel confident, boys. He's going to have a big week. I felt disrespected that nobody had him, and then Justin faded him. But that's what I'm rolling with.
I will say Ryan put up a post here saying auto bet Si Woo Kim at 125-1. You remember Si Woo Kim won this thing at 500-1. He won this tournament at 500-1, and he won earlier this year. He played like shit last week, but this is a course that he plays well on, and we hadn't even mentioned that guy. What are your thoughts on Siwoo this week, Guru?
He fits. I don't know that he could top 20, maybe. I think he's one of those people that can flip the switch. I mean, he's a bit of a die guy. He won out there on the die course, so I mean, I get it. I mean, the stadium course has some similarities to here. So, I mean, I don't fault anybody for betting it, but that week, there were things that lined up and made sense. There's not nearly as much that lines up this week, and the field is substantially stronger than, the Amex field. So I can't fault anybody for playing it, but I don't think I will. And if he comes back to burn me, he comes back to burn me.
Right. Well, I get it.
So let me catch Drew real fast. So
yeah.
I'm warming up to Spieth. So I couldn't really find a great segue into this earlier, but does it seem like the swagger is coming back?
Yes.
Because I saw a quote earlier. So like the swagger is there. Now I don't want to put him into Tony Finau territory, but I think first comes the swagger. Then you get to like Finau range, like where you start doing consistently well. The way this is peaking, this is going to be pure 2021 when he wins the Masters. And Boss Man over here had the right idea, betting him 50-1 or whatever the hell he got him at a couple of weeks ago. Now, I'm kicking myself.
I bet him at 55-1 2 months ago.
Yeah, see, like the way this year is going, I think this is what it's heading towards. I'm not going to bet it because I think it's too short now, but I would not be shocked at all. So I'm going to say congrats in advance, and thank you for the validation in the swagger thought. So for me, I would bet. I've got my outrights locked in, and I'll actually give you some other stuff too. So I've got Bryson at 15. It's just a good price, and if I really believe in him, I'm going to take the shot at it. I think Justin had the right idea with Cantley at 22. I've been talking up Decky. I got him bet at 40. I've got Paul Casey bet at 40. I've got Answer bet at 80, and I've got Scott bet at 82. I thought really about Jason Day as well, but yeah, I wasn't going to do it. I figured I'd take Scott. The 80-1 odds were better. So I started looking at some other bets too, thanks to our good friend Mr. Kenneth Smith, like put something out earlier. So I think the top Euro is kind of interesting, and so I'm going to ride Hovland. You can get him at plus 700, which I didn't think was bad. I am going to disrespect Spieth just a hair because they had a prop for University of Texas, and I think there were better odds on Scheffler. And since I've got Scheffler higher in the model, I think I'll take that plus 163 on Scheffler just for there. Otherwise, we're good. We're friends now. I think Brian Harman is interesting in the way he pops up on these shorter courses. I think he's an interesting play for the top Georgia Bulldog. And at last check, I think he was plus 1,100. So that was on my short list too. There's a bet for Eagles in round one, and Tony Finau is tied for fourth on the the season so far. So I'll take the plus 500 for Tony Finau. And then the two head-to-heads, which I thought were interesting. There's a Spieth Morikawa head-to-head. I will take the Spieth at plus 160 on that head-to-head. And then there's Brian Harman and Kevin Na, and I'll take the plus 105 on Brian Harman. And then Bossman here loves a straight forecast, so I'll take the Bryson Rahm at plus 225.
I like that one. I like that one a lot.
And my personal favorite, hole in one. I'm going to bet on round two, plus 295, just because I don't think there's been a round two hole in one in like 15 years here.
We're due.
It's due.
We're due.
It's due. I do like the comment. Rumor has it Hideki might start putting with his wedge this week. Hey, I'm going to quickly do this because we've gone a little long on the show, but I've had so much fun. This has been my favorite show we've done so far. I think it's our fourth now.
Yep.
Optimal lineup.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead and walk us through the optimal lineup here. This is big time, and as soon as he put this optimal lineup, it's scrolling right now. Talk it through it because people can't hear. They can't visualize it if they're listening to the podcast. Tell us about the optimal lineup, Guru.
So it popped at 573 points, which is interesting because that puts it right in line with what the players scored in 2017. It's a little light for 2018 and 2019 because those were in the mid sixes, but the way we've got some lower priced guys up there that you're going to have to work in, and then some higher priced guys, you're probably not going to be able to score exactly right. But Bryson popped in at number one. He was number one in the model, and he's definitely a big piece of the optimal. Victor Hovland is number three, and he popped in. So he's 9,300. Bryson's 9,700. Then number six was Scotty Scheffler, 8,900. And number 12 was Max Homa. And he's a nice, 7,600 and 110 to 1 on your outright lines. Then you've got Corey Connors at number 21, and he is 7,400. And then you've got Chris Kirk with some course history at 7,000, and he is number 26 in the model. And all that together leaves you with $100 to spare because it is 49,900. So you could actually build that top heavy core with Scheffler, Hovland, and Bryson, or really anybody up top that kind of fits. And then if you don't really like the lower pieces, you could shuffle them around to make it work. But I think that's a really good starting point.
I like Chris Kirk, and I'm surprised that none of us actually talked about him. I really like him at that price.
He's been a chalk like 7K guy building around my DraftKings. Like when I start a competition, I'm putting him in first. I like to put in my low value guy and then kind of work from there. And he's been that guy for me the last few weeks because he's been really right at 7K. I think the last 3 weeks.
He's striking the ball well.
Yep.
And so that's I saw the optimal lineup and I immediately said, boom, I'm on this. I'm going to play it. And so the optimal lineup's right there. Throw it in there. Throw it in a cash lineup. Throw it in any kind of lineup. Throw a buck on it.
There's big lineups this week too, boys. There are some big lineups out there.
yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun this weekend. We're all going to enjoy it. I will go ahead and mention a few of my outrights. I don't normally like for gambling purposes. I like to bet 20 or higher, 20 to 1 or higher, just because to make it worth it. But I do have Rahm at 16. I mean, when my model and your model line up perfectly, at number 2 overall, yeah, at 16 to 1, I'll take the money. I got Hovland. I've got Scheffler at 50, and then I've got I'm flipping a coin between Neiman or Zalatoris. Neiman at 66 or Zalatoris at 70, and then I've got my super sleeper, which I did last week, and I'm rolling with Connors again at 80 to 1. He's so high in my model, and he's striking the ball so well. Even if he gets a few of those little putts to drop, which he normally would, then I think he has a chance to contend. And I've got a lot of fun things I'm going to be talking about tomorrow when it comes to these straight forecast bets. And I'm really liking these. I missed a 5-leg group parlay last week by just one stroke, and it was a big boy. And I've got some of those group parlays already played, and I'm going to talk a little bit about those on Twitter tomorrow too. So those are going to be a lot of fun. We should do some articles on some of those fun outrights, some of those parlays. People love to play parlays, even if you throw $5 on it.
Even the match, yeah, like the group parlays are fun. Like just picking the guy out of the group, rolling with that. I'm with you.
Yep. And we did have one final comment here. Closest to the pin, closest to the win DK contest. We are going to do that. I'll probably start it next week and lead up to the Masters, or maybe we'll start it at the Masters. It's too late to do it this week. Maybe I'll look at it tomorrow. Maybe I'll do one, but we'd rather have one we could talk about on the show prior to. And so we started mentioning that in our private chat that we have, our channel. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. Even if it starts small and grows, we can do it. It'll be a lot of fun. So hopefully all of our listeners and watchers will pay attention. Speaking of listeners and watchers, please try to support us. Please give us a like, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We provide a lot of effort into these shows, a lot of effort into the model. It's unbelievable the amount of effort that Guru puts into this, and I know he keeps pushing me for a raise, and someday when the network approves it, we'll have to do it.
Damn, Bros.
But right now, it's really tough getting that top suite up there in the corporate, and getting those guys to put a crowbar in their wallets. It's ridiculous.
We'll just have to bink a GPP. It's okay. We'll make it the hard way.
That's right. They're saying win it. Hey, if you're so damn good, win a damn GPP. Anyway, guys, this has been a fun show. I've had so much fun with it. I'm looking forward to next week already, and I'm looking forward to the profile of a contender out tomorrow. Once again, guys, thank you guys for coming on, and we'll be putting a lot of information on Twitter tomorrow. Be on the lookout for it and the article. And that being said, any final thoughts for you guys?
Still doing a guess the winner contest on YouTube.
A guess the winner contest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Final. Yes, please. I'm glad you're still here. If you're watching on YouTube, go in and put a comment on who do you think is going to win the tournament. And if you're the first one to pick that player and that player wins, you will win. I know Ryan doesn't believe me, but I gave him the tracking number of his Daniel Berger autographed photo today, and so it definitely went out. That 2-week snowstorm put a lot of people in delays, and then I had some delays of my own. But it's easy, and it's an autographed picture and of the winner. And so, guys, get on there. If you're listening, if you're watching on YouTube, put a little comment down there. Tell us who's going to win. You might win a really cool prize, and we'll send it right to you. And it helps us out too. And so, anyway, other than that, final thoughts, Pro. You feeling a little better? The show make you feel good?
No, actually, it does. It does. I'm happy to get some more sleep. We'll be ready to roll for Thursday night. But yeah, I'm excited about it. Guru, as always, thanks for the beautiful model. I typically it's like amazing. Models. They're more beautiful than yours. However, we do appreciate yours. But no, boys, it's It's going to be a fun 4 days here, and I'm looking forward to a little back and forth banter when Spieth hoists the trophy come Sunday.
Absolutely. And of course, Ryan goes, it'll be hung up this weekend in the man cave. And Kenneth throws in there real quick. He bet Homa to win plus 25, and he asked if we did his Hammer Slam bet. Several of us have Hovland overall. So yeah, we're slamming on Hovland too. We all like him. And if you weren't at the bar playing shuffleboard, you would have watched the whole show and saw that. But anyway, just kidding with you, man. Well, hey guys, this has been great. We got a cool new outro and intro that we're incorporating into the show itself. And with that being said, here it.
Did you get all that? If not, make sure you head over to hammercast.com, subscribe, and join the Hammer Nation. Until next time, keep grinding.